Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Thomas, and here's his story. Hi, Ollie. After 5 years of no contact with my parents today, I confronted my father after he showed up to my front door. They always do. He's shown up many times and knocked on my door. Normally, I don't answer it, but today I decided to talk to him. I told him that I'm not talking to him because he's in contact with my mother and I don't like his behavior. One important thing I brought up first was that he forced me into contact with my mother after I went no contact with her during 2 years at a university in California. My father was driving to the university every few months to talk to me. I knew everything I said to him was going straight back to my mother. Also, keep in mind they had been divorced for 7 years. When I left the university, I didn't have a job yet, and my father said I could live with him until I find a job and get a room on my own. My father picked me up to drive me back to his home. On the way, he hands me his cell phone and says, "Call your mother," forcing me to contact with her. This is why you don't go back, man, because they hold shit over your head. It was this incident I brought up to him and asked him, "Why did you do that? She's your ex-wife." Oh my God, it's the ex-wife? It's the ex-wife? It's not even your, you're an adult male. You're an adult at this time. Jesus Christ. Why did you do that? She's your ex-wife. Why did you try to force me to be in her life? He says, "I don't remember doing that." Bullshit. And said, "I don't need you trying to control." And I said, "I don't need you trying to control my life anymore. I'm 40 years old. And he says, "Don't say that. That hurts." And starts to get tears in his eyes. Oh, don't fall for that bullshit. I said again, "I'm 40 years old." And he says, "Oh yeah, you're 40 years old now, when my birthday was just a few days ago," and didn't bother showing up then and leaving a birthday card or present. He says too, "I love Joey, and that's why I was in my ex-wife's life. Joey is the child of my sister that my mother adopted and claimed it was her son instead of calling herself the grandmother." Oh, one of those. I said Joey wasn't adopted by her at the time, by the time I left college. And he says, "Oh, he wasn't? I don't remember." Then I brought up his divorce. I said, "Why do you hang around with your ex-wife still? I can't be in contact with anyone who's in contact with her. Do you understand that?" He says, "Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. I don't think you should be that strict." And well, it's not up to him, it's up to you. And your family, and that's all that matters to me. And I said, "Then why did you force me back in with your ex-wife's life?" He said, "You've never been in love the way I have." Because that's what I thought. He wants your mother back. I think he probably wants your mother back, and he's using you as a pawn to get it. "You've never been in love the way I have." And I said, "She doesn't love you," to which, yeah, he's still in love with her. And he's just using you, to which he gave no response. Also, he hasn't talked to me in 5 years, so he wouldn't know if I've had a love relationship. He lies to me by claiming the last time before I stopped talking to him 5 years ago was because he forgot to show up for a dinner meeting. I said, "You forgot many times to show up for dinner." And he says, "I did? I don't..." Oh, God. Oh, the fucking I don't... This is where you just stop it and say, "You know what? Maybe you need to come talk to me." But you're... This is him showing up at your house. "Maybe you need to come talk to me," which should be never anyway, when your memory gets a little bit better. Since you don't remember anything, what's the point of this fucking conversation? There isn't none. There isn't any. "I did? I don't remember that. I don't remember that." Fuck all, you don't. What happened about 6 years ago was I started using Grayrock Method on him and he got upset. I knew every dinner meeting he was waiting to say something hurtful and get satisfaction out of my response. Then I started using Grayrock Method and he started to say meaner things. His hostile behavior got to the point where all of a sudden he started forgetting to show up to pick me up for dinner as a way to attempt to punish me. He's now 85 years old and I guess he can use the I forgot card a lot. Yeah, he can. Yep, he can. After this, he tried to appeal to me by bringing up God. I said to him, that's another problem I have with your past behavior. My mother made me go to a Christian school as a way to control me. She did this a few years before your divorce. Do you recall her cheating and all that stuff? Oh, she cheated on him too. You fucking simp. Then he admits that was a problem. Do you think? I said, do you know why I started smoking marijuana in high school? It was because you went through a nasty divorce that left me with a lot of anxiety from watching you fight with my mother and my mother putting me in a religious school. All this hypocritical behavior that messed me up. He says, that's your mother. I didn't want you to go there. Then why are you making me apologize to the fucking wretched cunt? He's the one who was paying for me to attend that private school, too. He asked, why don't you talk to your brother or sister or anyone? And I said, because my brother's an idiot. Do you realize all your shitbag children have used you and you ended up doing bad things? I say this because his son Philip died of an opioid addiction. My brother Tim had to go through years of rehab for crack cocaine use, and his daughter Susan went to prison for stealing opioids and medication when she was a CVS pharmacy clerk. My sister Michelle crashed her car into a tree when DUI, and my brother Tim was sleeping in the back seat. My sister Jennifer had a child, Joey, that was taken away from her by social services for being an abusive parent, and his daughter Kathy had him co-sign a car he had to repo since he was forced to pay for it after she stopped paying the bill. My brother Michael is the only one that seems successful, and he's not welcome around the family because he beat up the golden child for spitting in his face at her birthday party and ratting her out to the cops for growing marijuana in her apartment. Then he gets upset and says, those what you called shitbird children are your family. To which I replied, family is behavior. Exactly. So what? All this shit. Well, they're still your family. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. They're toxic. They're shitbags. Then he says, I would like to go out to dinner sometime, but I don't want to talk about what we're talking about right now. But you probably can't think of anything else. You should forget the past. You should forget the past because dwelling on it isn't healthy. Neither's being around any of you, apparently. Drugs, overdoses, crashing in the cars drunk. Like, wait a minute. You're the font of health here? I said there's an old saying that if you fail to learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. If someone tries to punch you in the face, are you going to jump out of the way to defend yourself? And he says, what? Yeah. And I said, that's why I'm not talking to my mother anymore. She keeps trying to hurt me, and I'm going to surround myself with people who love and respect me. He says, don't hate anyone. I forgave your mother for what she did to me. Why? Why? And I said, I don't hate anyone. This is about self-defense. Man, your father is a fucking simp. Man, is he a fucking pussy-ass simp at 85. I brought up the family dynamic, too, that he helped create by saying Michelle was treated better than me and the other children, to which he replied, yes. Michelle was treated as a special child. And I said, yeah, because she was born early in your marriage when we weren't around. You adopted us to keep, oh, you're adopted. You're adopted like little pets. Like little pets. And that makes sense why everybody's on drugs, because they adopted you like you adopt a dog, but it's a lifetime commitment. See, it's a lifetime commitment. And then what happens when their adopted pets get a little older and need more attention, they start neglecting them. And then the real problems start. And then the neglected pets then turn to opioids, drugs, alcohol, pills, yada, 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 yada. Hence, creating the shitbird family. You adopted us to keep your marriage going a little longer because it probably would have been over a lot sooner. Yep. I said, don't you remember when Michelle crashed her car while DUI with my brother sleeping in the back seat of the car? It seems she could do nothing wrong. And I was treated as a piece of crap. And I was treated as a piece of crap that needed to be set straight by being sent to a Christian private school, right? I mean, honestly. Be happy they did. It might have saved you. Might have gave you some structure that kept you away from that shit. This was the guy who whipped me with a belt because my grandmother had to drive me to elementary school for getting kicked off the school bus after beating up a kid that was bullying me. I've been suspecting he's the one pulling the strings more so than my narc mother. I don't know if I would call him a narcissist exactly, but I think he's high on the spectrum, and his high flying monkey behavior makes him someone I have had to cut out of my life. I think he's a doctor too, if I remember correctly. I think he might have even been chief of staff at one of these hospitals, if I remember correctly. And when all else, he has no more patients to take care of, and his marriage is falling apart. Let's adopt a bunch of kids in our 40s. In our 40s, he adopted these children like dogs. So instead of little yippy dogs, they adopted a bunch of kids and then neglected them and fucked them up. Thanks. He left me a note with his phone number on it, and I tossed it in the trash. What do you think, Ollie? Did I mess up by confronting him after these 5 years? It wasn't the thing to do. I wouldn't have. I just would have left him out there. Fuck him. But he didn't really mess anything up either because he's 85. You don't got to talk to him again. I recall your Narcissistic Terminator video where you said people going to Thanksgiving dinner only verified what they suspected about their narcissistic family members, and they're farther ahead today than they were yesterday. I feel a lot further ahead today than I was 5 years ago, but was this a foolish setback for me? No. One door opening, and is just a reminder of why you went no contact. That's all. Just look at it like, oh yeah, this is why I went no contact with you, because you're a fucking pussy that wants to excuse every shitbag behavior, okay? And yeah, you went and you adopted a bunch of children, okay, in your 40s, like pets, to keep your fucking useless marriage together a little longer, because you knew your wife was out screwing around, having affairs, right? So he figured, let's adopt a bunch of kids, and that'll stop her from fucking around. Right. Just know it's a reminder. Just look at it as a reminder of why you went no contact in the first place. I don't want him trying to hoover me in anymore, and I hope me doing this today didn't encourage that, because the next time I won't be answering the door. Good, don't. I just realized something in regards. My father showed up today after years of no contact because Mother's Day is tomorrow. He showed up to hoover me back into her life. What an asshole. Simp boy gonna simp. The simp is gonna simp. Okay? He's just a covert narcissist, just like anyone, just like any other narcissist. Okay? He's just a covert narcissist. All he did is remind you why you went no contact in the first place. And that's how you got to look at this, Thomas. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, phone call, have a private video made, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away, as I am completely demonetized by Google and YouTube. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care, everybody.